My name is Tim, and this is the year that would change my life forever.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! I just didn't know it yet.
Tim, my dear son, this is going to sound strange, but there's this family secret that the men in the family can travel in time.
This is such a weird joke.
It's not a joke.
If it's true, which it isn't.
Although it is.
But if it was, which it's not.
Which it is.
How would I actually...
You go into a dark place, clench your fists, think of the moment you're going to, and you'll find yourself there.
It's going to be a complicated year.
It's going to be a complicated life.
Here we go with all this love shit. But it's kind of cool because they threw some time travel in there.
Yeah, they did that just to try to get me in there.
Yeah. They did.
But it didn't work.
It's funny. Like right now, it's all about that. They want to appeal to people who like genre, and they want to appeal to people who like romance. And
who like Marty
two
McFly.
Two big things that work are time travel, which is not the first time they've done it. Time travel and romance.
That is true.
You got that with that Christopher Reeve one, Somewhere in Time. You've got the Time Traveler's Wife, which also starred Rachel McAdams.
Back to the Future.
This is the girl who doesn't get to time travel again.
That's right.
Back to the Future.
Back to the. Shut up.
Don't forget that. Don't forget that.
Or vampires is the other thing. But we're not talking about that.
Well, you know what? And it's funny because I was reading a story. You must have read the same thing, a story about how Rachel McAdams has been in so many time travel movies, but she herself is not time traveling.
There really is no female time traveler unless you're with Doctor Who. That's about it. And even then, you're not in charge of anything.
Even Midnight in Paris, she doesn't get to travel back.
That is,
yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
She's a girl. She's dumb.
Yeah.
She's a big dummy.
Nobody wants to see Rachel McAdams travel through time is what Hollywood is telling
I want to travel in the future where she's not having her clothes on. That's what I want.
Well, that's not going to ever be in your
That'll be when she's 45 and you don't give a shit.
I can't wait.
She does her Playboy shoot and everyone's like, yawn.
Yeah. Who cares?
As I said, not in your future.
You're right.
But, this is, let me just warn you guys out there. Yeah, you're probably thinking, all right, this got time travel in it. Girls love romance, guys love time travel. It's got more romance than time travel in it.
Well, yeah. I mean, ultimately, time travel is a plot device for the romance, which is certainly awkwardly done compared to something that did it so great, like, say, Groundhog's Day, which ultimately is very similar in its mechanics to this in a lot of ways. But yeah, I mean, it's a Richard Curtis film, and Richard Curtis is known for doing, like, romance films from the viewpoint of the male character, which is, I guess he's about the only guy who does that, really, that are very light, very comedic, has that bumbling English stereotype. Hugh Grant was his heroic leading man in Four Weddings and a Funeral, and Notting Hill, and Love Actually.
That's so funny, like Martin Scorsese, he gets Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro. This guy gets Hugh Grant.
Well, I mean, nobody else works well with Hugh Grant but him, and traditionally he has. His movies have been about as palatable as a straight-up romantic comedy can get for Richard Curtis's films. That being said, this is the end of his directorial career.
So he says. He'll be back.
He's not going to stop writing films, because he always has, but he's like, you know what? I'm just so sick and tired of directing. It's a pain in the ass. I don't want to do it anymore.
There's no way we can get him to just stop doing both?
Yeah.
I don't like this guy's movies.
Really? Because I'm on the other side of that. He's the only romantic comedy director I generally do like a lot.
I don't even think he has a dick. I think he really is a girl. I mean, I know a lot of people, they love Actually. He directed that.
I'm a big fan of that movie myself.
I know. I don't know what it is. The problems I have with that movie are some of the problems I had with this. But one of the things I do admire about this film is we can sort of take a heavy science fiction element, or in this case a time travel element, and simplify it. Make it something just kind of quiet, something that in this case is very romantic. And what you have here is a guy, young man. And I've never seen this guy before. The actor's name is Domhnall Gleeson. He plays a character named Tim in this movie.
Was he one of Rupert Grint's older brothers in the Harry Potter movies or something?
Like a weird ginger-looking guy.
He looked like one of those fucking kids from
one of the Weasleys.
Harry Twilight or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Shut up, co-host.
He looks Weasley. But
damn it.
Which makes you mad because he, later on in the movie, gets Rachel McAdams. But we'll explain how that happens later. The important thing here is that his father, who has no name, just known as Tim's father, I think. He brings him in one day, played by Bill Nye.
I think they give him a name.
Did they? Yes, Tim.
I think it's Nighy.
The actor's name is it Nighy?
Yeah, because Bill Nye is the science guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm thinking of.
Totally different
Now
guy.
you can remember.
Yeah, I was wondering where's his beacons and
If only you can.
beakers and
If
shit.
only you can travel to the past where you don't fuck up.
But he
Plus, I think there's a rule in England that you have to cast Bill Nighy in all your movies.
True.
Because he's in every British movie that comes
and if
over
they
here.
do, I'm fine with that because in this movie he brings his son in. He says, "You know what? We can time travel." And Bill Nighy, he does it in a really great bit of dialogue where his son is saying, "This is a joke." He said, "No, it's not." He said, "You know what? Try it out. Go into a closet or some dark place, close your eyes, and just think about some place in the past that you want to be." And his son is like, "All right, you fucking with me. You know, I'm gonna do it just because I want to get this done and just get this joke over with. But I'm gonna do it." He goes and thinks about a mistake that he made at the New Year's Eve party they had the night before. And lo and behold, he's there when he walks out the closet. And so later...
But no, wait, that's not just time travel. That's teleportation.
Well, he's going back into the body of himself. So he goes back and he's
You see what I'm saying, co-host?
Sure.
No, the idea is that when he time travels, you can only go backwards in time,
Yeah.
right? You can't go ahead to a time you haven't been to yet, and you can only go and sort of replace yourself in that previous time. So it's not like you got to dodge around the previous version of yourself so the universe doesn't come to an end. When you go back, you take over your body at that point, and you can do things completely different, which can lead to your whole reality changing from there on out.
And believe me, it still doesn't make a bit of fucking sense. I mean, you know, this goes to show you how lovesick this guy is. You're thinking, man, it'd be cool to, I don't know, go back in time and make millions of dollars or stop 9/11 or something like that. And they explain in the movie pretty much, no, you can't do anything with that. You can only use this power to fall in love. I mean, you know, they don't say that.
Well,
but
they
that's
do it
what
for
they-
different
It seems like a little bit, yeah, because I was like, I want to give this movie a little bit more credit with the use of time travel, because with a plot like this, it could really be all over the place. But I was like, you know, I like the fact that they kept it consistent as far as the rules, as far as what these guys can do with this time travel.
Generally speaking, although it's funny, I read a lot of people criticizing, saying, "Oh, they broke the rules here and here." I'm like, no, actually, those I wouldn't count those as rule breakers. But whatever. Either way, the point is, it's a light piece of fluff comedy, and the dad says, "Look, your uncle or grandfather tried to make a lot of money, ruined his fucking life.
Yeah.
There's lots of cases of people in our family line who tried to do big things, and it fucked them up. Look." Just find something simple
Exactly.
to make your life better. And he's like, me, I wanted to read everything.
Yeah.
And so I basically just used it to have extra time and go
And it
back and
is
just
kinda
read every
cool.
book I could get my hands on.
Yeah, and it is kind of cool in the movie that it says just keep it simple. So when he finds this girl, when he goes to a bar one night that he really likes, and they hit it off very well,
Rachel McAdams.
Rachel McAdams, he says, all right, this is a simple thing that I'll use it for. I will keep going back in time, trying to make the perfect moments. Now, he's a very selfless guy, so, you know,
Yes, that is selfless.
But
I have the
it's-
ultimate power, and I will use it to get pussy.
like
To
you said,
stalk
keep-
this one girl.
hey, but that's what I would use it for.
Well, I mean, in the circumstance, it makes sense because he has one of like the perfect meet cute, right? Where it's like, oh my god, it's so perfect. They both know it. They go away like, wow, that's amazing. I think I'm already in love. And he finds out that night that I'm not sure who the guy was, his uncle or something like that, had like this disastrous performance of his play that he had written, like where he feels like he's ruined for life. So he's like, no problem. I'll just go back in time, and instead of going on the date, I'll fix this problem because I know how to fix it now. Like I know what went wrong, and then we'll go back and make sure everything's good with the girl. You know, I'll meet her and it'll be fine. He doesn't take into account because he's an idiot or something. Oh shit, we never had that date, so she doesn't remember me.
Yeah, he's such a nice guy. He does stupid things. Forget about the time travel stuff. This guy's just fucking his own life.
He's kind of an idiot.
Dumb
Yeah.
thing.
But so he keeps using it to try and figure out how do I recreate a new meet cute so that we can hit it off and be,
Yeah,
you know,
it's him
happy
really
together.
trying to recreate moments in his life, and that's what the whole movie's like. It's like I'm going to recreate this moment where I meet this person in the perfect conditions. I'm going to try to recreate the perfect conditions for other people that I'm close to, until it gets to a point where the most perfect thing in his life, it might not be that simple itself. So the story is, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I'm kind of joking around about the love stuff, but it's cool to see a movie take this kind of tone with something that could be really heavy. Like you said, Cole, I mean, it could be all over the place with this movie, but it's very straightforward.
Yeah.
It's a cute story. And the biggest complaint that I might have is that time travel thing does start to feel gimmicky after a certain point.
I thought that at least a movie that I wasn't expecting to like at all, I was like, wow, it did win me over every time Bill Nighy was on the screen. Because he is just amazing. Every scene he's in, you don't ever want him to leave the screen because, I mean, he eats it up.
Big thing. I've only loved 3 men in my life. My dad was a frosty bugger, so that only leaves dear Uncle Desmond, B.B. King, obviously, and this young man here. I'd only give one piece of advice to anyone marrying. We're all quite similar in the end. We all get old and tell the same tales too many times. But try and marry someone kind. And this is a kind man with a good heart. I'm not particularly proud of many things in my life, but I am very proud to be the father of my son.
But either the main guy in this, though, I thought they give every character just enough to where it's the script itself is funny and witty, and it seems to go places that, you know, you were like, okay, this is one of those romantic comedies where it's not annoying the shit out of me with all its cutesiness, but the one problem I did have it was that it felt too goddamn long after a while. It felt like this was originally maybe a 12-part BBC series that should have been 12 parts, and they just, you know, threw it all into one big movie. Because I was like, you know, there are moments of kind of sitcom type situations, but there are some other situations that are pretty heavy for a movie like this. And I think with me, it kept jumping back and forth into the I don't know, the kind of just fun, just like romantic side to the very serious issues that, you know, this kid has with some of his family members that they explore.
Yeah, it's a life journey for this guy that you follow him on, including, you know, major events that happen in people's lives, like, you know, losing members of your family and having children and stuff like that, and how that affects you, but with the context that he can fix shit when it goes wrong. Only the big twist halfway through is like there comes a point in your life that if you're going to go and change anything, that point will be irrevocably changed. It'll be different than it was before. So it's kind of like there are those markers that are going to be in your life. You're like, shit, now you can't go back before that or you're going to screw everything up.
So it's like getting into a game and going like, oh man, I forgot to save.
But yeah, exactly. But there, you know, there's lots of stuff that the gimmick, and it is a gimmick, make no mistake, because otherwise it's just a straight romantic comedy, is really genuinely funny. There's a whole sequence during a wedding where he's got to pick his best man, and so he just experiences it with every candidate, and you just watch him go, oh fuck. It's like, let's try it again with somebody else.
No, it's funny in moments, and at times I'm like, because the movie is too long, I'm saying
it drags.
All right, you know what, this whole time, I get it now.
Yeah.
All right,
and this guy
made it funny. Jokes kind of done with that.
Well, let's travel to the future where it ends.
And then this guy,
I can go home and live my own fucking life. You know,
I want to go into a closet myself and close my eyes after a point.
And this guy, this lead actor, he's capable, but, you know, I hate to say it, he's no Hugh Grant, and Richard Curtis worked better with Hugh Grant in these type of roles, and it felt like he's trying so hard for this guy to be. He wants him to be Hugh Grant so bad, and he's just not.
Well, he's so boyish, man, and he's such a bumbler that you either don't buy that he's somebody that Rachel McAdams would be into, or you just get pissed off that she's with him.
Can we?
I know it's a movie, but like, goddamn, man.
Can we just make her a companion to the Doctor already? Because all she does is hang out with time travelers. This is getting ridiculous.
She can hang out with me.
You ain't a doctor.
Time travel somewhere. Time travel on my penis.
Really? Yeah, there are ancient civilizations on there.
I think that Richard Curtis, when he's writing characters, some characters, see, the strength of something like Love Actually for me is that there's so many, I might not like the movie as a whole, but there's so many people in that movie that there's certain characters that are very memorable. In this movie, but at the same time, there's certain characters that just annoy me. And the reason why they annoy me is because they themselves are joke characters. They're not written past a certain personality that's just supposed to make you laugh. And as the movie goes on, they begin to get stale. And there's an actor in here that plays played by Tom Hollander. He's the playwright that you're talking about. His attitude, you think it's almost a joke at the beginning of the movie when our main character comes to meet him. He's like, "Who the fuck are you?" You're thinking, "Oh, he's joking with him." No, the whole time he's like, come on, get upstairs. Yo, you see that daughter right there? That no good daughter of mine. She's had sex with everybody. You can have sex with her too if you want. She comes by. Oh, I'm so gruff. And then I was like, all right, it's funny for a little while because he has lines like that, but he's like that through the whole film. And it's so one note that you just feel like this is not a well-written character. But Bill Nighy, he makes the movie, man.
He does.
He captures. He has the funniest lines. I think he's the best actor in the movie. I think he's the one that actually is the real true emotion of the film. I love this actor, and you see a movie like this, and I'll watch this again just for him, but only the parts that he's
and it's a father, in many ways, it's a father-son bonding film.
Yeah,
really.
and it's really sweet.
Romance to one level, but that level is really the sweetest level of the whole movie, and the one that will get you towards the end. There's a bit of a gut punch in that, and I know for me, because I lost my own father not that long ago, I couldn't help but identify with it in here. And, I mean, certainly went like, okay, wow, how much would you love to be able to do what this guy can do? You know,
I wish I would go back in time and meet my father again, but all he'd be like, "What you doing here, boy?
You gonna go beat him up? I'll show you, Dad."
You fuck with that time machine, haven't you? Did you just let me rest in peace? Bad enough having two of you here. No, I think that we're talking about how this is a romance movie. You make a good point. The romance that they want to come across in the marketing, and for the most part in the film, is these are two lead characters, Rachel McAdams and this guy Domhnall, whatever the fuck his name.
They got to sell it. They can't sell this movie on a romantic comedy between a son and his father.
But I was going to say that is the real romance in the movie. Is this relationship between the father and the son, and I liked it. I didn't love it. It definitely has a lot of faults that I can see, but judging how people love this guy's writing in his movies, it probably worked better for you. I mean, I'm giving it a matinee. I did enjoy it, but I think it'd be better if they had just shaved a little bit off of it, man.
Oh, easily.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I think we're exactly on the same point about our problems with it and what we liked about it. I think I may have just in general enjoyed what there was to enjoy about it just a little bit more than you did for various reasons, because I was with it, and even when I was seeing what it was doing wrong, I was like, because it was quick to move on to something that I liked. And in general, I'm a fan of Richard Curtis, even though my favorite movie of his is not a romantic comedy. It's Pirate Radio. You remember that one? Yeah. Also known as The Boat That Rocked, I think, in England.
That's what that movie is.
Yeah, I love that movie. I think that's hysterical, but this is one of his lesser films, but still enjoyable overall, and I give it a high matinee.
All right. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said, the only complaint was it did feel like a TV show, because that part you're talking about with the asshole that gets introduced to the movie, that felt like an episode where you deal with that guy at that one point in the movie, and for the rest of the movie, he's practically gone. There's no, he couldn't, if they left him out, you wouldn't have felt so, like, okay, they introduced this guy for this one bit moment. Yet, how does he really get involved with the rest of the family? So I don't know.
Just being a joke.
Yeah, it's just being a throwaway kind of plot. But other than that, no. Bill Nighy, he is the one and only reason really to see this. And yeah, this movie is more of a love story dealing with just fathers and sons. And yeah, give it a matinee.
All right, and Leon is giving us a big fuck you because he wants to get out of here. He was so tired. You should have seen this guy. I gotta say, man, you were a real trooper, man. Because the whole time you were melting, you were leaning, you were so tired.
Even worse is like the only good thing you were saying about this, and he's like, fuck fathers.
I know.
Go to bed.
This shit ain't true to life.
I never know what the future holds, just like everyone else.
Time catches up to all of us, my son.
My dad. I've tried to live every day as if it was the final day of my extraordinary, ordinary life.
I hope I see you again.
You will. My whole life depends on it.